Bop, bop, ba bop, bop. Hey, I'm back. I'm back. I'm alive. I'm alive and I'm back. I'm back and I'm alive. I still can't believe that I have this tattoo. Anyway, time to do our dailies. Let's do our dailies. Let's get right to them. All right. Let's check. We'll check it. Make sure it's there. It works. Okay. What's this? You know, I really shouldn't tweet about streaming. I just get a whole bunch of spam accounts liking it. It's fine. There we go. Okay, why does it have that there? It's fine. Let's go and do the Anadole. Let's also play some music here. How you doing? How we doing? How we doing? What's some good music? Some just from my like song. Sure. There we go. That's good. All right. All right. So let's see. Confident in a single word. All right. So let's do our normal one, Jujutsu Kaisen. Okay. After 2020, based on a manga, it is an action series kind of related to urban fantasy and shonen. Okay. Okay. 2020. Past 2020. It's not Mappa, though. We know it's not Mappa. It's not as highly rated. So, what is a newer... What's a newer action mangas? Action series based off a manga? There's plenty. I could think of one. Hell's Paradise. That's Mappa. That's Mappa. So, okay. Huh. Why is it so hard to think of? Sentenced to be a Hero. No, that's not based on a manga. That's not based on a manga. Action series. What is an action series I've watched recently? How am I blanking on this of all things? Kaiju number 8. Let's try that. Okay, before 2024, and not by Production IG. Also, it's not fantasy and it's not sci-fi. Okay, action series based on manga from either 2021 to 2023. Okay. Let's try Ranking of Kings. 2021. It's not by Wit Studio. Ranking of Kings is technically a web manga, which I didn't know. And it's lower rated than all these. It has to have a male protagonist, though. Okay, a male protagonist series from 2021 based off of a manga. Okay. Action series based off of manga. Not an adventure series, not a fantasy series. It's not sci-fi. Kind of urban fantasy, so it's more modern, okay? But it's action. Tokyo Revengers? Tokyo Revengers! Hey, I'm proud of that one. I'm proud I got that one. All right. That's good. That's good. That was a good one. That was a good one. Look at that. Way over the average score. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. All right, guess the anime. Oh, that's it. Princess Mononoke. Easy. Ooh, BNA. Brand new animal. Oh. Ah. I don't know what this one is. I don't know this one. Sir. Amazing Stranger. I've never heard of that. Hi, how you doing? You knew this one? I got the previous two. First try. But they were also Princess Mononoke. No. Hi. It is my affiliate anniversary. I've been doing this. I've been an affiliate on Twitch for 9 years. Bird brain. I don't know what's going off. And my mouth finally feels better so I can stream again. Okay. You don't know that one? Okay. I would be surprised if anyone did. I've never heard. Let's look at this one. What year is this from? 2019. That's not as old as I thought it would be. Okay, that's fine. Guess the characters. Okay, well, there's an easy one. We got Yor from Spy Family. We have Rin. Tosaka from Fate. Stay Night. I don't know if it matters, but that looks like the Unlimited Blade Works edition. Alex doesn't know where India is, and that makes me uncomfortable. Alex doesn't know where India is. I'm gonna stop the music there. You mean Alex Newcomb? They don't know where India is? What Alex? Hi, Hazel Kate. How you doing? Welcome in. What an interesting thing to come in. Alex Newcomb doesn't know where India is. Like on a map. How? It's one of the easiest countries. It's literally like a little triangle. It's doing good. How about you? I'm doing really well. Thank you for the follow. I appreciate that. I'm actually doing pretty good because I've been feeling really bad for the past month, and now I'm better, so I'm feeling great. Appreciate that. I didn't know it did put a thing in chat for follows, but hey, I like that. How do you not know where India is? That's. You know what? We should do I want to do a geography like map guesser thing at one point. I love those. Cool. I just finished some projects and found the channel. Nice. We're gonna be chatting about One Piece here. I do anime videos on anime. Everyone knows where India is. I know, right? It's like super. It's one of the biggest countries. It has the most people. Most of the world knows where it is because most of the people are from. No. Anyway, I've been there. It's a nice place. Yeah, I do anime videos. And one thing I do to start my streams is I go in and I do a little Annie guesser thing just to warm up, just to get ready, get into it. I don't know who these two people are. I know these ones, but I don't know them. So I'm gonna just hit that. Clanad. Oh, they are from Clanad, huh? All right. Later in the stream, I'm gonna be doing a I know two of these. I'm gonna be doing a ranking of all the arcs of One Piece. So get ready for that, and that's gonna be turned into a YouTube video. But I didn't want to close that. That's fine. Whoop. Okay. Just gonna. Okay, we're good. We're all good. What games do you play here? I play a lot of Smite 2. I've been playing through Pokemon Let's Go Eevee recently. I'm probably gonna play Fortnite later. I like Fortnite. You know, Dark and Darker is a fun one. I need to play more Dark and Darker. I've been playing through all of the. It's funny. This guy's here. I'm playing through all the Phoenix Wright games. Lately. Edgeworth. Miles Edgeworth. And yeah, I play a lot. I play a variety of games. I play some Nintendo games every now and then. I try to play through a good amount of games when I can. Generally, I lean back on Smite 2 a lot just because, like, if I'm not feeling up for like a story, I do love grinding that game. But I do generally try to play a mix of things. I think her name's Flo. Something, I don't know. I know she's from Rising of the Shield Hero. The Rising of the Shield Hero. Did you try BO7? BO7. I don't know. Battlefield 7? I don't know. I don't know what that means. Black Ops 7. Oh, I have not played a Call of Duty game in a very long time. I think the last game I seriously played was probably Black Ops 1. I played a lot of. I'm old. I'm gonna say that right now. I'm turning 33 on Monday. So like, in high school I played like, Modern Warfare, World of War and all that stuff. But after that I really didn't. Was it Flavia? I really didn't stick with it. When it comes to shooting games, I like I like a lot of shooting games, but I don't generally fall in for a lot of Call of Duty stuff, just because there's just so many. It's like, I played Madden, right? But like, there's just so many Madden games that I kind of fell out of it because I stopped caring as much. The the um the mass amount of them makes it hard. The new zombie mode is fun. That sounds fun. That's the one thing I do miss about Black Ops. That I do miss about the my favorite part of World at War was the zombie mode, and the Black Ops 1 was even better. I do really love the Call of Duty Nazi zombies modes. Those are a lot of fun. I have a lot of really good memories on those. God, I remember the original one. I remember the original one on World at War. It was just a stupid thing, and in high school, we'd have big group of guys over at a friend's place, and then we'd just spend like all night playing it. It was so much fun, so stupid. So that stuff was great, but I do miss that. I have thought about going back for it, at least just for that. I'm gonna say this Philo. Her name is Philo. I knew it started with an F. I don't know any of the. I feel like I should recognize this girl, but I don't. She's She's a doctor of some kind. Is that no? No, it's not. No, I don't know. Soul Eater. Another clan ad one, huh? Okay, we'll take that. It's fine. Not our best. By the way, I got something to ask too. Sure, go for it. Go for it and ask good questions. All right, let's get some openings. Do I recognize this? I don't think I do. I need the visual clue. Let's see. Oh no, this is some generic ass anime. I don't know if I'll know this one. Oh, is it Gate? Maybe? It's not Gate. Oh, Irregular. Is it Irregular at Magic High School? I think so. There we go. Perfect. All right, we got that one. I'm a graphic artist, so is there any chance I can work for the channel stuff like logo, banner, overlay, etc., like anime style something? I'm not currently looking for anyone. I have a few artists I go to whenever I do need stuff. I don't have the capacity to do that, unfortunately, at the moment. I appreciate it. I appreciate the offer. But that is not something I'm currently looking for at the moment. I have a lot of stuff that a lot of my banners or overlays I've had for a good while. I've had some really good artists in my life. Yeah, but yeah, at the moment I'm not looking for any additional ones. Always good to ask though, I get you. All right. Round 2. That Irregular Magic High School. I feel like a lot of people like it or something. I see it all the time, but it just sounds so generic. Nope, don't recognize this. Let's see if we can get it from the visual clue. There we go. All right. Let's see. Well, it kind of says the name there. So. Hey, if I didn't, I wouldn't know. This is such a generic looking ass anime. It could be Dot Hack, honestly. I don't think it is. I don't think it is, though. No, it definitely isn't. Oh my god, this looks so bad. Oh, it looks so bad. I'm gonna do Dot Hack sign just because whatever. Death March to the Parallel World Rhapsody. That's the worst fucking title I've ever heard. That looks awful. It's from 2018. Okay. That seems like a post-pandemic slop anime, but that's fine. That's fine. Oh. Okay, this is a good one. Hold on. Hold on. Okay. Oh, it's an animator. A game maker dies of an overworked and put into the game. Oh, is that it? Oh! Oh, this is a Skull Bookkeeper! Oh, fuck. It's... Bookkeeper... Skeleton... Skullman? Skullface Bookseller, that's it. Skullface Bookseller Honda-san, that's it. Okay. That's a very, very unique art style. Okay, all right. We've already got a really good score. I'll be real. That getting that Anadole so fast really helped out. Ugh, okay, let's see. Okay. Ooh. Okay, that's a good ED. Okay. Don't know it. Let's pull it up the thing. We got a picture of the ocean or something here. Oh, girls. Ooh, I don't know this at all, I don't think. Oh, I don't know this. How am I supposed to know this? Clover or something. Let's go Black Clover. It's not that. Masume-kun's Revenge. Oh. Masamune-kun's Revenge. I've never watched it. I've heard of this one. Never watched it. I think we're gonna get destroyed here. No, not guessing it. We got a person running here. That's something. Okay. Okay, we got a sword. Was this reincarnated as a sword? Yes, it is! Yeah! I got that one. We knew. We knew. We knew. We got that. Okay. Yuri-sama! Yuri-sama! Oh, I do know this one. This is Genosha! Genosha! I know one off the rip. That's the hard one. Come on now. Genosha. I love Genosha. That's in my top 10. That's in my top anime of 2025 video. Genosha. That one's sick. That's a sick one. If it kind of spoiled it for having the Yuri thing, but like I would have known it from the music also. So nice. Okay. All right, we got a cool 50,000 out of 100,000. That's good. That's real good. I feel like that's real fucking good. I feel like that's pretty fucking good. I feel like that's pretty fucking. You know what? I think we did pretty good today. Okay. It's a good one. It's a good one. It's a good one. All right. So we have a point to today's stream, right? Now we're gonna take a little thing here. We're gonna wipe it down. Make sure we look crisp. Make sure we look clean. You see, I actually put my hair up. Take the headphones off. I don't need them now. Oof. I'm lucky. My gums only hurt a little bit. They're only a little swollen today, so that's nice. I had my root canal on Monday, and kind of hurt like a bitch. But I got through it. And I feel okay. Gums are pretty sore day of, and yesterday and the day after, the next day and the day after. But Thursday we're here. Swelling's almost gone. Teeth feel pretty normal, so we're good. Root canal's not done. I still need to go back, and they need to do more. And then I need to find and schedule a crown appointment. So I'm not happy about all of that, but I can close my mouth normally again for the first time in a month. So, man, I can't tell you enough how much the past month has sucked. It's been bad. Like, I sat down a few times wanting to stream, and then like I clicked my teeth together the wrong way, and it would trigger a headache that lasts for hours, and I had to like go into my bedroom and like bury my face in a pillow to block out all light and just like power through it. It sucked. All right, we are good though. We're good though. Okay. So what we're going to be doing is we are going to be covering a bunch of One Piece arcs, which means that and this is going to be turned into a YouTube video, right? A YouTube video. Okay. Now, let me be clear. Okay. I'm gonna do a normal a video intro, and we'll get into the actual list. So, that's so weird. It's so weird. Also, I should say I am working on another video right now at the moment. I've been watching through Yu-Gi-Oh! Duelist Kingdom. I'm currently watching through it on the Japanese version too. And I'm going to read the manga, and we're going to make a video talking about the Yu-Gi-Oh! Duelist Kingdom, and I'm excited to talk about that. It's going to be such a good video. Also, at SakuraCon, I picked this up. I was very happy to find the Beck soundtrack on CD. Those are your updates for me for today. Okay. All right, let's try to get a YouTube video done. Also, I'm going to snooze this ad. I'm going to snooze that. All right. All right, it's fine. Gotta turn on the magic. I also burned my tongue yesterday because I had hot chocolate, so the tip of my tongue is annoying. It's fine. Okay. Okay. Hello, YouTube. Welcome to Do I want to do one of this? What's going on, YouTube? What's going on, YouTube? What's going on, YouTube gamers? Gonna get the energy up. What's going on, YouTube gamers? Why would I say gamers? I have an anime channel. I don't need to say gamers. What's going on, YouTube? I'm here, and I'm talking about One Piece. Gear 5. Anyway. Okay. Hello there, and welcome into this new video. Hello there. Hi. Hi. So, I've never made a tier list video before, but I thought why not start now? I want to talk about all the arcs of One Piece, and I figured a tier list video would be the best way to do it, at least the most structured way to talk about it. So I'm going to go through all the arcs of One Piece. I'm going to rank them as S tier to D tier, because there's some great ones. There's some ones that are not as good, and I'm going to rank them in and I'm going to rank them in each letter grade. And I'm going to rank them in each grade. So it's going to be, and I'm going to rank them in each grade. Yeah. So I'm going to go through every arc in One Piece and assign it a letter grade through. So I'm going to go through every single arc in One Piece and assign them a letter grade from S to D. Okay. So I'm going to go through every single arc in One Piece, and I'm going to assign them a letter grade from S to F, ranking every single arc in talking about the quality of every single arc and what I really enjoy from One Piece and what gives me the things that I love most. Going through each and every arc and talking about what I really enjoy from One Piece and what arcs give me that feeling the most. Now, there's not a lot that's... Now, there's probably not going to be a whole lot that's going to be down in the bottom there, but I do want to just go through every single one, assign them a letter grade, and then in that letter grade, I'm going to put them like as the S1, S2, S3, you know, put... Go back here. And as we go through every arc, I'm going to talk about what they do that I love the most and what they do that bothers me and why I think each one has... And what my overall thoughts are in each arc. I feel like these kind of tier lists are the best way to kind of break that down and keep it pretty nice and succinct. Without further ado, though, let's just get right to the list. Without further ado, though, let's just get right to that list. I should also mention very briefly that I have started a Patreon. On that Patreon, there's 3 tiers right now. I'm going to double check, make sure I actually set this up correctly. Give me one moment. Hi, you get to see the cutting room floor, how the meat is made, you know what I mean? You know what? That's fine. Okay, we're good. All right. Really briefly here, I do want to mention that I also have started a Patreon recently, which has 3... Really quickly here, I do want to also mention that I've started a Patreon recently to help support what I do here, because we all have bills we have to pay. There's 3 tiers, and this is all optional if you ever want to... There's 3 tiers, and it's all optional. You don't need... There's 3 tiers, and it's all optional. You don't need to... Yeah. There's 3 tiers, and it's all optional. You don't need to support me, but if you want to, and you want to get perks like having your name in the video, getting a shout out at the end of every video, or getting an MS Paint drawing from me, then you can go over to Patreon and there's some options there for you. Not going to belabor it too much, but thank you very much for listening, and let's move right on. Ugh. I gotta have to start doing that in like every video I'm doing, and then in the future here, and I'm not excited about it, but you gotta start doing it. You know, it's a nice thing to do. It's also hard because when you start out, especially, because like, who's really going to support that, you know? And like, it's like, oh, I can put your name in the credits, but like, you're the only person. There's only gonna be like maybe like 1 or 2 people, you know? It's fine. It's fine. It's where you start. It's all where you start. It's fine. Okay. Orangetown. Orangetown's when they meet Buggy, right? Yeah, that's the Buggy arc. Yeah. Okay. All right. All right, let's get started. Okay, so to start this off here. All right, so starting this off with Romance Dawn, I'm going to put this firmly in B. Now, I know that might be hard for a lot. Now, if you're a One Piece fan, you may be looking at like B. This is the beginning of One Piece, the beginning of this grand adventure. And yeah, that's why it's in B. Actually, no, I'm going to do this. I got to actually add row below F. Black. Oh. Oh. Oh no. Blue. D. All right. I changed the color on this. Pink. And do like a little green. All right. All right. All right. That differentiates it a little more. All right. Let's get back to it. Spin random wheel. What am I doing? What am I doing? Okay. Okay, so to start this off, I'm going to talk about Romance Dawn. And okay, so to start this off, we're talking about Romance Dawn. Now, this is the beginning of One Piece, the beginning of this grand adventure, and that puts it firmly in a B. If we're being objective, Romance Dawn is an amazing... If we're being objective, Romance Dawn is a great hook. If we're being objective, while Romance Dawn is a great hook, it's not the most engaging story. It's not the most complex. It's just a little glimpse into this world. Okay, let's start this again. This is gonna be hard. It's gonna be hard to begin. This whole thing's gonna be hard to start with, but we're gonna get through it. Okay. I've not done content in a little bit here, so I've got to stretch out these muscles again, you know? All right, so starting off with Romance Dawn, this is the beginning of One Piece where the story all begins, and that means it's obviously a B. Now, I'm assuming there's going to be some people freaking out about that, or that's probably going to be the case for a lot of things on here, but it might seem crazy to put Romance Dawn as a B, and it is the beginning of One Piece. It's the start of this grand adventure, which is all well and good, but that's why it's in B and not lower. So Romance Dawn is the introduction of Luffy, Nami, and Zoro. Nami, not as much, but Zoro and Luffy, you get the main introductions there. And the beginning of the Straw Hat Pirates. And while it does capture that sense of adventure and starts us off on our adventure with Luffy, there's not a whole lot of complicated emotions, feelings, or anything with the plot. You're just kind of following along and learning a little bit more of this world and seeing the whole setup that's going on here. But, you know, it's solid. It's a really solid start. It's a B. There's not a whole lot really to say about it because it's not all that complex. And complexity isn't like the end all be all. It's not like the thing I'm going to rank everything by. You need to be super complex and super deep for it to be S or A. But Romance Dawn is the beginning of the story. And it starts off on a nice even pace, you know? But there's not a whole lot to like really glom onto originally, right? There's not a whole lot of hooks in the story so far outside of just getting to know our principal characters. So it's a solid B. Following that, you have Orange Town, which is where Luffy meets Buggy. Following that, you have the Orange Town arc, which is where Luffy actually meets Buggy the Clown, really introduces Nami and has Nami It really introduces Nami and has Nami interacting with Luffy and Zoro and getting those really core dynamics between those three, which really is the heart of the Straw Hat crew. And this means that it is a C tier arc. This one drags a little bit and it's not the most fun. I love Buggy. You know, Buggy's a really fun character. But not as much in his original opening. He can be kind of annoying. Buggy's fun Buggy is a fun character because he keeps coming back up in the story and seeing one of the original villains and seeing how weak and pathetic he is compared to all the newer things that are coming in the story is always interesting and entertaining, and where Oda takes that. But his initial introduction is just kind of okay, you know, he's annoying, he's loud, he yells. Cool. I don't know. I don't know. There's also the subplot with the dog protecting its owner's store, which is cute and everything, but it's not very emotionally moving to me. It's one of those things that's like, that's cool. I don't care all that much, but that's cool. You know, it's nice. Listen, I'm going to have to warn you. You're going to have to bear with me because I have not the most positive thoughts on the start of One Piece. It's going to get better. You're going to have to bear with me through the beginning here. I don't have the biggest, best, most positive thoughts. If you're a major One Piece fan and you love the East Blue saga and East Blue vibes, I've seen a lot of people being nostalgic for that. You're going to probably not like what I'm going to talk about here to start with, because I have some complicated thoughts about the beginning of One Piece. I had my own complicated journey getting into One Piece, but I need you all to understand this is my list, this is my perspective. I love One Piece, but we're going to be honest about our feelings here. And being honest about our feelings, we go to Sierra Village, which is I don't think it's an F, but it is a D. Sierra Village, the introduction of Usopp, a character, again, who I love for a lot of stuff that comes later, but in his original introduction, he can be very annoying and grating, along with the actual Sierra Village arc just being kind of a drag and not having a lot of real stakes to it, right? Like Buggy, at least as a villain, while he wasn't the most, really like threatening character, at least there was something complex about how he worked. He had the chop fruit. He could move himself in so many different weird ways. It's goofy, it's weird. It introduces the zaniness of the One Piece world. Sierra Village, Sierra Village and Captain Kuro, Captain Kuro is a ridiculous villain when you look at him like objectively, but he treats himself very seriously. The story tries to treat itself pretty seriously. Not totally, because you have characters like Django, but it's trying to be it's trying to tell this story of a boy who cried wolf and Usopp trying to protect the people he cares about from pirates with the help of Luffy and the gang. And it just drags on too long. It is not all that interesting. I talked about this in my One Piece live action video for season 1. I was really glad when the live action seriously changed Sierra Village, because I don't care what people's nostalgia says. Sierra Village arc was not very good. It just wasn't. It just really wasn't. I'm going to be honest, it's probably some of Oda's worst work. I'm going to put that out here just to say where we're going, because I think we're going to go up and up and up, but not my favorite. Baratie. Baratie is onwards to the Baratie, and the Baratie is a solid A-tier arc. This is the first really solid A-tier arc. This is the introduction of Sanji. This is the first arc where you actually have the Going Merry, all the crew, an actual Straw Hat ship with the Straw Hat symbol. This is where you actually feel like you're starting to get the real crew, and the introduction of Sanji as the cook. The actual core emotional strings in this arc is very solid. I love the introduction. I love the interactions with Sanji and Zeph, and you can get this very complex relationship Sanji has with being honest with people, being kind to people in a lot of ways, and where he gets that from, and his really abrasive attitude that is a constant thing with Sanji, but under it all there is love, there is affection for people. It's just the way he shows it is a bit different. And even though he can be a prickly character, he does show that he genuinely cares about people, because he makes even starving pirates food. He will always feed people. And getting that backstory, understanding where Sanji comes from, is super impactful. The villain for this arc is probably the thing that keeps it from S, because I don't find Don Krieg to be the most engaging. And going back and watching that arc again and again, I've watched it a few more times since I originally have, and Don Krieg is interesting for the fact that we see what happens when like a big East Blue pirate goes into the Grand Line. We get a peek at how dangerous the Grand Line is and what the Grand Line is. But Don Krieg on his own isn't really that engaging of a villain, right? He really is he really is one of those guys that's just an asshole all the way through. There's not a whole lot of complexity to him. He's not a really deep character, a complex character, which there's a lot of non-complex villains out here that I really do enjoy. But Don Krieg is pretty one note and not the most fun. There's other villains in the arc that are better, but Don Krieg isn't really the highlight of that. So Baratie goes in A overall. A lot of great stuff in this. Also, the battle between Zoro and Mihawk is amazing, super iconic. You really get the introduction of the entire, like the warlord system, which is going to be massively impactful later on. You get a lot of things actually like mentioned and started in this arc. You have the beginning of what happens in the Arlong Park arc, starting here. So many threads come from the Baratier arc, but the arc so many threads come from the Baratier arc, and the arc itself is amazing. It just doesn't get to S tier because the villain's a bit lacking, which holds it back a little bit. So, also, thank you, Yellowing. Happy affiliate anniversary to us all. East Blue Saga is super basic, but I love it all the same. Yeah. East Blue Saga is super basic, but I love it all the same. That's right, Yellowing. It is not the most complex, but after Baratier, we're going to get to in a second. After Baratier, it starts getting a little more into that stuff that I really love about One Piece. But especially in Romance Dawn, Orange Town, and Sierra Village, it is not the most complex. It's very basic-y shonen, you know. But Arlong Park, this is our first S tier arc. Arlong Park's one of the best arcs in One Piece. It is absolutely the point. This is a very common thing I hear from a lot of people when trying to recommend One Piece, is if you get to Arlong Park and you haven't fallen in love with the series yet, you can probably end it there, because this is the part that grabs a lot of people. And I can tell you, personally, this is the arc that really made me see One Piece differently, as opposed to like a long shonen series being a shonen series that actually knows about politics, about the a shonen series that knows about exploitation, and how a shonen series that knows about exploitation and death and those complicated feelings. It makes so much. Sorry, 1 second. What are you doing? What are you doing? Yeah. Okay. Arlong Park is really the beginning of where you get a lot of the complexities of the One Piece story, understanding the many different faces of characters where they're not one note, right? You have a character like Nami, who's always been hiding a lot of parts of herself, but has been a member of the crew for a very long time. Since the Orange Town arc, she's been with the guys, hanging out, you know, going through all these different adventures, but then you have her suddenly bailing and understanding why she's been doing all she's been doing throughout the story, you know. And by this point, it's been a lot of chapters. It's been some big arcs, because, you know, you've gone through a lot with these characters. Not as much as what we're going to go through comparatively, but you've already really gotten to know these characters, and seeing this whole different side to Nami, where she's come from, what she's trying to do, how she is trying to work for the Arlong Pirates, and the whole story of Fishmen and their role in society that's only previewed in this arc, but is laid out to begin here, is so fascinating. And just the way that Luffy, and just the way it characterizes Luffy as someone who will always back up and stand up for people that he cares about, is super emotional. The walk to Arlong Park series, the walk to Arlong Park scene is one of the most iconic parts of the One Piece. The walk to Arlong Park scene is one of the most iconic pieces of One Piece mythos for a reason, because it's just the. I gotta turn this on here real quick. Because it's just this deep emotional beat where you understand. Because it's this deep emotional beat where you understand that all these characters, Usopp, who's been. It's this deep emotional beat where you have all the characters just wordlessly united on defending their friend. And the characters you really haven't seen always be the most friendly with Nami, especially like Usopp, who's argued with Nami and now he's a coward, so it's very surprising to see him take on this role, to take on something so threatening. Or Zoro, who has always seemed kind of ambivalent and doesn't really trust Nami all that much and has been betrayed by her, of course, and he's the one who takes betrayal probably the most to heart, or really holds on to those kind of things. And of course, Sanji was always going to help out. And Luffy, I think one of the parts that actually really sticks with me is that when you have that moment when they're explaining the backstory for Nami, when the backstory for Nami is being explained to the Straw Hats, Luffy makes it a point to walk away because he doesn't care. It's not important to him why Nami is doing what she's doing. It's not important to him where her past is or what she's been dealing with. All he knows and all he cares about is that Nami is his friend, and he's going to get to the bottom of this. Whatever else is going on, it'll work out. And I love that. I love that some of the groundwork in Arlong Park comes back big time multiple times in future sagas. Massively. Massively. It is a huge... There is so much stuff that is laid out here. Jinbei is laid out here. It's like all these different little aspects. The story of the fishmen, different fishmen characters that come back. All these things are going to be super impactful, and then some of my favorite moments of One Piece are going to be coming right back here. But Arlong Park is the real start of that, and amazing arc, amazing arc. Everyone except Sanji was like, screw Nami during the whole Arlong Park up until that moment. Yeah, they definitely weren't. I wouldn't say they were all screw Nami, especially after they found out what was going on. But there definitely wasn't a lot of trust. But when it gets to that point, you know, they hear their friend asking for help, they're there. They're locked in. Even Usopp, who is scared, he does shit, you know? Usopp is really impactful in this arc. You go back and look at it, he actually does. I mean, he's still a coward, but he does a lot. He does a lot. He punches above his weight class, we'll say. I'll say the one part that kind of makes me want to bump Arlong Park down a little bit is the whole segment where Luffy gets stuck in concrete and then thrown into the ocean, and they have to like hold his head up above the water while they try to free him. That stuff went on a bit too long for my taste, but it's fine. It's fine. Overall, has to be an S. Overall, it has to be an S. The way that Arlong manipulates and controls Nami on its own, and like Nami's very complex feelings where she has to grapple with the fact that she does want to trust people, that she does want to have friends and go out in the ocean and have adventures as a pirate when she's hated pirates her entire life. That conflict is so engaging, so beautiful. So beautiful. Okay, Lokedown. Now, Lokedown is personally an arc that I love a lot. I revisit a few episodes from it. Overall, though, it's... I kind of want to put it in B. I'll put it in A. There's some stuff in there that is really important. Luffy on the execution block, finding the execution block, the introduction of Smoker, who I'll say I think Smoker's a little underutilized, but that's fine. That's for a later time. The actual I'm sorry. Ooh. That was a bit weird. Always a bit weird. All right. The real reintroduction to Buggy and Alvida. The reintroduction of Buggy and Alvida, seeing that these villains are actually going to come back multiple times. That's where that like becomes like a real thing. The reintroduction of Buggy and Alvida, showing that these characters are actually going to come back and play a role in things going forward. I think that's really understated, that One Piece is a show where villains aren't just beat. They come back. They're still in the world. They still have their own grudges, their own goals, and they come back in the story. And that's where Lokedown is like where that becomes like a thing with like these characters are going to come back. You're going to see them. You're going to see them. And you're not going to see Bucky again for a long time. You're not going to see Alvida again. Alvida barely has a role in anything at all. But they're not going to come back for a long time. But they are going to come back, So there's also a really good send off to the whole East Blue saga and starting us off into what's going on in the Grand Line, introducing introducing all these different elements that wouldn't be explained for hundreds of chapters. There's so much set up in Loketown. There's so much set up in Loketown, and Loketown is such a integral part to the One Piece story, an understated integral part to the One Piece story, since it's where Gold Roger was executed, so it's really where the Great Pirate Era began. It's a really cool arc. It's a cool arc. It's not, there's, again, if you watched it in the anime, there's a lot of filler, and the filler's not great. And this isn't being judged on the anime or the anime's handling of the source material. We're just talking about the story itself, not really how anime pacing ruins it. Buggy, don't you mean King Buggy, heir to the One Piece? We'll get to that. It's been a while since I've read Loketown and One Piece in general, but the sword shop scene, that's epic. It's been a while since Loketown has a lot of key moments, a lot of key threads that are started here, and a real good send-off to what we've already done before, getting us prepared for that journey into the Grand Line. As Yellow Ring says, the sword shop scene with Zoro is such a good scene, integral scene to Zoro's character, where you see that he really just is going to trust his own luck, and to a reckless degree. Very fun arc, but there's not a real strong villain to it. It's not very long. It's not S tier for me, but it's one of those things that adds so much flavor to the One Piece world. Very flavorful. And that's the thing that I'll say is, if it has a lot of flavor, it's going to rank pretty high for me. If it has a lot of the core, like introducing and like exploring the One Piece world, I'm going to love that stuff. But its overall place is a little lower, just because it doesn't have as much oomph to it, Okay, gonna take a breath here. Gotta take a little breath. Taking a little breath. All right. Life's like a lamb. All right. So Reverse Mountain. Now, Reverse Mountain is one of those arcs that really introduces how insane the One Piece world is. What do you mean you have a mountain where the water goes up from the 4 oceans and it shoots you right into the Grand Line? What do you mean you have a giant, impossibly big whale named Laboon and you have to deal with his depression? There is so many cool things in Reverse Mountain, but it is a solid B. It's not an A, unfortunately. Now, I love Laboon. Look at little Laboon here. Thank you. Now, I love Laboon. Look at little Laboon here. Got this at SakuraCon about a month ago. I love this. This is so pretty. I put it right next to me over here so I can look at him while I'm streaming. I love Laboon. I love whales. He's a really cool character. But Reverse Mountain, again, it suffers a little bit because, like, the main villain in the arc is the introduction of the Baroque's Works characters, and Miss Tuesday. Is it Mr. 7? Oh. Mr. 9. That's it. Miss Tuesday? Miss Wednesday. It's Wednesday. Miss Wednesday. It's Wednesday. Oh. Mr. 9 and Mr. Wednesday. Yay! Reverse Mountain was more about laying the groundwork for what the Grand Line would be like. Yeah. We'll get to that. Also, thank you, Allie. I appreciate it. Thank you. It's been 9 years. I'm an affiliate for 9 years. It's insane. Ugh. Okay. Character names will escape me. We will be looking up and researching. There's going to be a video. I'm going to be chopping it down a lot, I feel like. But yeah, this is what's going to happen. Mr. 9 and Miss Wednesday are not the most... Mr. 9 and Miss Wednesday are just kind of pathetic, you know? And there's a lot of pathetic villains in One Piece, and sometimes those can be fun. Sometimes they can just be placeholders that just feel like we're kind of spinning our wheels with them. The scenes that we get, there's a lot of great comedy in this arc. I love Quarkus and his whole arc. I love the later meaning we get for Reverse Mountain. That's going to come later. We'll talk about that. But Reverse Mountain on its own, solid B. Fun, great introduction. Love Laboon, love Reverse Mountain itself, but like, you know, it's not... It again doesn't really have that oomph, and it doesn't have as many great scenes or moments like Logtown to bump it up to A. So there it is. Whiskey Peak. Whiskey Peak is C. Leaning closer to D, but C. Whiskey Peak. Whiskey Peak, where we get more of a solid introduction to Baroque works and what it's going to be like here on the Grand Line. And what we get is Zoro having to go and fight a whole bunch of people, and that fight's cool. The live action version of it is amazing. But, you know, Whiskey Peak doesn't really have all that much cool going on, and it has such a... The fight between Luffy and Zoro is so mind-numbing and aggravating for Luffy, because like, Luffy, what are you doing? Like, why don't you listen to your guy? Zoro has been your guy. Why don't you listen to him? Why don't you ask him what's going on? You know, it doesn't really fit with Luffy's character, because usually he's hot-headed and jumps into things, but he doesn't really jump into things by beating up Zoro. You know, I don't know. Seems a bit weird. It's a bit of a weird arc. Again, we set up for stuff going on later in the series, but Whiskey Peak on its own, Conversely, the collateral damage from their fight was hilarious. Yes, it was. I mean, there's a lot of funny stuff that happens in Whiskey Peak. Whiskey Peak has its moments. It's not a D because it's boring. It's not an F because it's a total failure. It's a C. It's a solid arc with some interesting moments, some good, mostly okay. It's okay. It's okay. Little Garden, on the other hand, is A. This is an A-tier arc. I'm probably going to put it above Logtown. Little Garden is where we get introduced to giants and Elbath. We meet Dory and Broggy. I love Dory and Broggy. Amazing characters. Who doesn't love Dory and Broggy? They are absurd Viking giants that have been fighting each other for 100 years. Every single day, fighting each other. And their characters and them as characters, amazing. The comparison you have between their rivalry and the rivalry going on between Sanji and Zoro, hilarious. These constant rivals these people have. The story of these constant rivals and rivalries, this funny comparison of these constant rival and this funny comparison of constant rivalries between each other is just a really nice little set piece there. It's not S tier because Mr. 3 and Miss Golden Week and everything that goes on with... It's not an S tier because Mr. 3 and Miss Golden Week, they're okay. Again, it's not amazing, not perfect. Mr. 3, again, has better moments later on, not a part of this arc, but I think him in this original arc is kind of grating. There's some really great scenes with Sanji. Sanji has some great moments in this. The introduction, the work he does, talking to Crocodile, great stuff. Again, smart, very smart. And the more introduction and you get into Baroque works, it's there. There's a lot of cool stuff there, but they're just, I find them lacking as villains overall. Especially here, especially right now, just a little lacking. Not bad. Not bad. Doesn't drag it down, but it doesn't elevate it. So it's okay. It's okay. Some really fun moments. I really love the scene where Zoro decides to cut his own legs off, fails, and then decides he's just gonna pose, so he has a really cool pose as a wax statue. There's some great moments. Like, there's a lot of great moments. You can't deny there's great moments. But other than that, you know, it's fine. It's okay. Oof. Okay, now this one's hard. This one's hard. This one's S tier. Drum Island is S tier. I kind of feel like it's a step below in S. It's like it's not the top of S tier. It's up there. But it's better than A, I feel like. Drum Island is one of those arcs that whenever you go back to it, it's just so heartbreaking. It's just so beautiful. And introduces one of the greatest characters in One Piece, which is Tony Chopper. Tony Chopper, the Doctor, and his snow-covered island. A perfect introduction. Fantastic little island that a perfect introduction. A perfect introduction to Chopper. Such a weird little character. The one thing that drags it down is, again, the villains. Walpole and his crew of cronies that are very dull. This is why it would be top of S tier if not. It'd be up there. But it's not. It doesn't reach that. Walpole and his cronies are pretty meh. I don't get a lot out of them. I don't find them that engaging. Walpole himself is just another one of those kind of grating villains that is not very strong, but sticks around a long time just because we have to wait and draw it out until Luffy can just smack him away. And it's fun when Luffy smacks him away, but golly, does he just yap on. Ugh, I get it. You eat stuff. Fuck you. Fuck you. Fuck you. Fuck you, Walpole. But again, like the core part of this story, especially the flashback scene of Tony Chopper and Dr. Hiriluk, is peak One Piece. It's the peak of what makes One Piece special. It talks so much about hope, about your dreams, about always chasing your dreams and freedom, and what that really means, you know, and finding your family, finding people who value you and sticking with them. And there's a story of Chopper, the story of Hiriluk is so tragic, beautiful. Doctorine is such a, I love Doctorine as a character because she's such a cranky old bitch, but she is who she is, and I love her style. I love how she is old as hell, but is probably gonna outlive every single character because she will never die. Just a great old witch. Just a great old witch. Also a pretty sneaky, impactful arc because this is also where you get the beginning, where you actually find out that Gold Roger isn't named Gold Roger, it's Gold D. Roger, and that's really important. That's a big thing. Doctorine points that out. She's like, no, his name wasn't Gold Roger, it was Gold D. Roger. Does he go by Gold Roger now? Is that what they're calling him? And the introducing that the concept of the clan of D, or the importance of the D. Very important, that D. Who but it starts off on that concept, which carries on, but Drum Island, just heartbreaking arc. Heartstring pulling. But the more I think about it, it kind of feels like it should be an A. Like it does have like, I'm gonna put it in A. We're gonna bring it down to A. Drum Island's one of those ones I want to put it in S tier, but I just don't care for Walpole as a villain, and that is important. It's important to have that like tension in the story that a lot of other arcs do nail, but that tension just isn't there. So today, it's an A, top of A, but like the Baratier, right? Sanji's story also tragic, heartbreaking, but the villain just isn't as good as it could be. So A tier story. All right, now for the first major arc. I have a ton of nostalgia for Alabasta. Some subsequent arcs are objectively better, but if One Piece ended there, I'd have been happy. Yeah. Yeah. Now it is time to talk about Alabasta. Now, Alabasta is the first major arc. I think Alabasta sets up a lot of what these big major arcs are going to be going forward. And we'll get into what I mean by that in a little bit here. But Alabasta is an S tier. This is an easy S tier. I think it has to be top of S tier, really, at the moment. We got to put it at the top. It's great. Alabasta is great. It has by far the most imposing villain in the entire series up to that point in Crocodile. He takes that serious imposing nature you have from a character like Arlong, and then adds onto that just how much more powerful he is, how much more complex and layered his thinking is, his plans are, plans on top of plans on top of plans, and how long he's been working on this grand strategy to take over Alabasta. And you have the Straw Hats and Princess Vivi doing their best to stop him. And that feels like such a hard task because he's a Logia type. He's the first major Logia type villain they have. He's made of sand. Like, you can't even really fight him. His powers are super imposing. He beats Luffy multiple times, which no one else has ever gotten close to doing. He is super threatening, right? And then you have like the formation of Baroque Works against the Straw Hat Pirates, and the more the climax of the arc, you get a lot of the kind of format they go with a lot of times. This battle shonen format where you have a lot of the Straw Hats breaking off to fight their own individual members of the opposing force, in this case, Baroque Works. And you get the introduction of a lot of the ways that those fights go down, like, Usopp and Chopper trying to have to be a little more strategic, and they can't rely on brute force or their combat abilities, unlike Sanji or Zoro. Zoro's fight being more straightforward and serious, and Sanji's always having a little bit more humor with him having to deal with the fact that he can't fight. He can't fight whenever he can't fight Bon Clay whenever Bon Clay is using the face of a woman. He just can't do it. So like there's a lot of humor there, goofiness that really reflects Sanji's role in the story really well, which is to be a strong, imposing character, kind of like Zoro, but also be a little more goofy and silly. He fills that really well, really sets the mood on that. This also introduces how Nami fights in general, outside of her having a staff and, sneaking on people, right? This is the first chance you really had, like, Nami have to take a fight on her own, and having to figure out on the fly how to use her, and her having to figure out on the fly how to use this weapon that Usopp's made for her. It's dials later. What is it called at the time? Nami weapon. One Piece. Climatact. That's it. The Climatact. It's really where you have the beginning of Nami learning the Climatact and like actually introducing the thing that is her crucial to her character, the fact that she can sense the weather and she's such a great navigator and she understands biometric pressure and weather so well, making that a part of her toolkit, making that crucial to the way that she fights. It starts here. Really great. I love that characterization, by the way. I think that's such a unique way for Nami to have to fight and like interact with people, because she's not physically strong, she's not physically imposing, she doesn't have great aim or anything, but she knows the weather and she's able to use that to her best ability here. I think that's brilliant. You also have the introduction of Nico Robin, and we don't learn a whole lot about Robin, but beautiful character. Robin was introduced a little earlier, but it's the first time you actually have her as a character in the story where you're following her, you know, she actually engaging with her as a character. As well as the history of One Piece, the history of the world, the importance of these giant polyglyphs, the ancient languages, the Void Century, and Pluton, these big, scary super weapons that we don't even know right now what they really are. You know, we have ideas, but we haven't seen it. These are still things that have not been solved over 1,000 chapters after, and like so much stuff. Like Alabasta is like the like one of the keys. Arlong Park levels up the series, levels up One Piece, and Alabasta is the next level, right? It's like we take everything that we've taken so far in the Grand Line, and that culminates into this big battle where all of our characters have to grow. They have to figure out their own ways of fighting. They have to come into their own a little bit here, and push past their limits. You know, yeah. I mean, Alabasta is an easy S tier. Easy S tier. I'll say the one thing that kind of puts it a little lower. I'm not as big of a fan of Vivi. I don't love Vivi as much because she is a bit of a crybaby princess. But like, I mean, the complexity they have there, like cloud seeding being a thing. This is an arc made in the early 2000s. Cloud seeding being a thing, and a thing that actually does exist and will have a lot of impact on a lot of the Middle East going forward. It's a real thing. And that's like real world politics. And you can see how resource struggles can put strains on people, can drive people into places they don't want to go. And you understand every single side of this civil war that's going on that they have to prevent. And it's super understandable. And it feels like it kind of would have been interesting if it was revealed at some point that Crocodile was working on behalf of the world government, the upper tier of the world government, because it feels like a CIA plot, you know? It feels like a CIA thing, you know, where they're just stabilizing a country. It feels like what America is doing in places like Cuba, you know? Like trying to starve out a country of all of its resources to force its people to rebel against the government. That's the playbook that Crocodile is taking out of. And that is explicitly the kind of stuff that I was referencing. And very complex, beautiful, amazing arc, both from its story, the growth of its characters, the introduction of characters like Ace, the development of the relationship between Luffy and Smoker, and people trying to grasp who Luffy is, you know? Great arc. Fantastic arc. Eh. And my mouth is a little dry. My mouth is a little dry. Give me a second. Ugh. Okay. Okay. All right. Speaking of great arcs, Jaya. I actually really love Jaya. Jaya, I think, is a super underrated arc. It's not S tier because, again, it has the problem that a lot of these arcs have, which they don't have a key villain that I think is really imposing. or really memorable, but it is a solid arc. This is one of those arcs. Jaya is the beginning of Skypiea, right? And it is an arc that introduces so much. It's the beginning of where you see we've been introduced to Blackbeard. Blackbeard's been talked about, but it's the first time you see him as a character. And the most interesting dynamic he has with the way he is introduced is the way he talks to Luffy to begin with, right? How it introduces Luffy, and there's that infamous panel. There's that iconic panel where you see Luffy and Blackbeard sitting next to each other, and one of them loves a pie so much they could die, and the other one hates a pie so much they could die. One of them loves a drink so much they could die, the other one hates it so much they could die. They are such polar opposites of each other, but they also are so similar, right? And you can feel that kind of respect that at least Blackbeard has for Luffy, in the way that he is definitely a villain, absolutely a villain, but he believes in the power of dreams. He believes in the power of being a pirate. He's not like a lot of the other villains you've had so far that have this kind of nihilism. They have this kind of anger towards the world. He's something different. He's something closer to what Luffy is, and that's kind of scary in a way. Jaya is the beginning of also you get the story of Nolan the Liar. I love that. I love the story of Nolan. We'll get into that when we get into Skypiea. Because that's more where you really get it. But like Jaya is such a good setup arc. It's a really fun arc, and it's satisfying. The villain in Jaya is not that imposing. He's not. I don't even remember his name all that well. He's not an imposing villain, but Luffy's beatdown of him is satisfying. It is fun. And also the fact that there's a sky island and just having to get up to a sky island, and that whole concept of them just like diving in on that. Just great. Just great. Love Jaya. Love Jaya. But Jaya is but the thing that makes Jaya great is that it's a setup arc for Skypiea. Skypiea is S tier. Skypiea is S tier. Now, I'm going to be honest. I'm someone who, when I first watched through One Piece, I had problems with Skypiea. And I'm going to talk about those problems, because it's not up to Alabasta or Arlong Park. It's the bottom of S tier. But it is an S tier arc. It's an S tier arc. It's an S tier arc. That's just what it is. People say to skip Skypiea, and those people are insane to me. Skypiea is quintessential to what One Piece is, which is a fantastical adventure story. Like what you would read in like a pulp novel, where you pick up like it feels like, if you were like a kid in like the 1800s reading the Treasure Island, or like in like the 1920s, like reading about like Journey to the Center of the Earth, stuff like that. Like those actual like swashbuckling, ridiculous, absurd adventures that don't make sense in any kind of logical way, but are fun. They're fun. They're fun and they're inventive. And it's about. And Skypiea is up here, even though it has a lot of problems where it kind of drags in parts. It has one of its major sins is that it does the thing I hate the most in One Piece, which Alabasta, you are also guilty of this, which is fake out deaths. This is around like Alabasta and Skypiea are like quintessential Oda faking out deaths constantly, trying to add dramatic moments, trying to add this like weight to all these characters and the damage they're taking, and trying to make you feel the impact of these moments, and all of that being a lie because that character isn't actually dead or like comes back later and is totally fine. And I get why Oda does that. He doesn't like killing characters. He doesn't want to make everything sad and depressing like that. But if you are going to build up, if you want to build that credibility that a character is taking incredible damage, that we're watching something tragic happen, you can't pull the rug out from under me and say that he's fine later. You have to commit to that moment, or else you lose me the next time you try to do it. And Skypiea Does it a lot. Does it a lot. There's a lot of characters that get hit by lightning from an L, and it seems like they've been shocked so much that it stopped their heart. They're gonna die, and then they're partying with them later. Okay. I will say also from the anime side of things, Skypiea has some of my favorite performances from Zoro's voice actor, Sabat, Christopher Sabat. He has some really funny line reads in Skypiea. Not a huge thing, but I think they're really funny. This is an arc that has one of the best villains in early One Piece in Enel, who is another one of these Logia type devil fruit users that is such an annoying asshole. The worst kind. He's like he gets a lot of build up as an annoying jackass that you just want to see get beaten down, but he's also super imposing, right? Like in a lot of these other ones, like in Baratier or in Drum Island, even in Jaya, like you have these characters, you have these villain characters that are jerks who are building up all this bad will against them so that the audience wants to see them get beaten down, wants to see their comeuppance, right? And a lot of those times it kind of falls flat because the character's not that imposing. You don't think they're actually going to do a whole lot to Luffy, right? Or like if like Sanji or Zoro beat them down, it wouldn't be that big of a difference, right? Skypiea gets that balance where Enel feels imposing. You have seen him terrorize people constantly, control everyone. No one's able to come close to him, and the only reason Luffy can beat this shit out of him is just a type disadvantage because Enel is made of lightning and Luffy's made of rubber. He just wins. Rock, paper, scissors, get fucked, you know? He's a rubber man. He's a rubber man. He's a rubber man. It's fun. It's a fun arc. There's also the thing that really seals Skypiea for me, the thing that I come back to it. I think when I came back to Skypiea and rewatched it, I love the story of Nolan the Liar, and oh my gosh, how am I forgetting his name? Mount Blanc Noland. Why am I free? It's really hard. Oh gosh, you got me. Let's see. Shandora. Yeah, Shandora. What's it? What the fucking the chief in Shandora? Not the chief. Kalgara. Kalgara. That's it. Kalgara. The thing that really sets Skypiea apart, the thing that like when coming back to it made me reevaluate it a lot, is I love the story of Mount Blanc. I love the story of Mount Blanc Noland and Kalgara. That bond they have as two different people who don't really understand each other because they are from two very different cultures, have two very different ways of viewing the world. But they have this deep friendship, deep, strong friendship that they build, and it's so tragic. Their fates are so tragic, and the stories, like what happens to the people they love and they care about, is so heartbreaking. But you get this moment, this kind of connection later on. The ringing of the bell, the ringing of the golden bell feels so more than beating Enel. The ringing that bell just feels amazing. And like the anime's sound design on that bell, perfect. I love how the bell sounds in the anime. But that relief you get, that releasing of tension, where the Mount Blanc family and the descendants of Calgara can rejoice. You know, like Waver and Viper. You know, seeing that relief of generations of trauma and like for the Mount Blanc family, it's not as bad because they are just dealing with being disparaged and being thought of as liars. For Calgara's descendants, for the Shandorian people, they've been colonized brutally. This is a story of colonization, specifically showing like it kind of echoes a lot of the Spaniards because like the Shandoran civilization looks it's based off of El Dorado, the city of gold, and there it looks like a Mesoamerican type of city, so it really, you can tell that it's so much story of like native people being colonized, their culture being robbed and co-opted and thought of as important to somebody else who doesn't have any claim to the land that they're on, who just takes it from you and oppresses you for generations and generations. And that relief that they finally get, that victory they finally get over Enel, more than the victory you get for Luffy or anything, you feel those generations of tension being released, and that it's a tear-worthy moment. It's a tear-worthy moment. And people who skip past Skypiea, you're not going to appreciate that. It's great. It's a fantastic arc. Also the beating that the Going Merry gets, there's a lot of impact. The scene where the Going Merry gets repaired and you're not sure why or how what did that. That the setup that you get for arcs going on later on here, more just digging into the world of One Piece, the fact that Gold Roger had been up there, had been to the Poneglyph, all these different aspects. Such a beautiful arc, beautiful arc that you should not skip. You should not skip it. I don't know who started that, who said that. Do not ever skip Skypiea. You'll appreciate it more as you go back to it. All right. Long Ring, Long Land. C. Not a whole lot to say about this one. You could kind of I feel like you could kind of just skip this one. I know some people love Long Ring, Long Land. I don't have a lot to say on it. Quirky and cute. Moving on. I think Long Ring, Long Land is the one that I have the least to say on it. I just don't. It was a few stories that happened. Okay. I mean, in the anime, you get the Foxy Pirates and the Davy Back fight, which is interesting, but that's not. I mean, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Water 7. Oh. Oh, no. This is going to be a lot. We're going to be talking about a lot here because this is the moment where I bought into One Piece. I feel like you can delineate One Piece, not even by, like, again, we talked about how Arlong Park was a level up for One Piece. Alabasta was a level up for One Piece. Skypiea, great, but didn't feel like it was a level up for the series. Water 7. Top of S tier. Boop, move that down. Level up. Level up. Level up. Level up. Level up. Level up. Okay. Water 7 is one of my favorite arcs in One Piece in general. Just in general. It's going to be up here for a while. Well, I mean, Water 7 is one of my favorite arcs in One Piece. It has some of the most emotional scenes. It has a lot of heartbreak to it, a lot of world building, a lot of world building. Even some subtle stuff that really doesn't come back until like very, very recently, with the fact that Water 7 is sinking, but Water 7's one of those arcs that just introduces a city so beautiful and imaginative, and it's obviously based off of Venice, but it's so absurd and beautiful. Water 7 is one of those, like, the first, like, really beautiful place in One Piece, right? I feel like a lot of places in One Piece up to that point are awe-inspiring or interesting. Water 7 is just, like, a gorgeous city. Just absolutely gorgeous. Um, there's so many different threads of tension that happen all throughout Water 7 constantly. Water 7 was gut-wrenching, yes. There's so many different levels. There's so many different levels and strings of tension that are happening all across the Water 7 arc. The biggest of which being what's going to happen to the Going Merry. The Straw Hat crew has come to Water 7 to try to find a shipwright to fix the Going Merry. Their ship, their beloved ship, that they have a whole bunch of money from Skypiea. They want to get it fixed. They want to get it taken care of. And so they find some of the best shipwrights in the entire world. Happen to be in this city. Some of the best shipwrights in the world. And they find out that they can't fix it. And along this, at the same time, you have the Frankie family stealing a lot of their money, specifically victimizing Usopp, the weakest member of the crew, making him feel weaker and weaker, plying on the fact that he is a jack of all trades, master of none, so master of sniping, but like that's not really, he's still a coward, right? He doesn't really have, he doesn't have a combat role in particular. Like he's a good sniper, but he's not Zoro, he's not Sanji. He can't take people down by his sniping alone. He's not Chopper or Nami or Sanji again. He doesn't have those key like skills that keeps the ship going. Like Robin even like has like is incredibly threatening, has a whole bunch of combat prowess, right? And then you have that tension with Robin. Robin's missing. Where did she go? What's going on with her? She's attempted to kill the mayor of Water 7? What's going on? Is she a bad guy again? There's all these different threads of tension building out. The story of the Galley Law Company, of the people of Water 7, of their connection to the King of the Pirates, who Frankie is, Iceberg, all these different characters interacting with each other, all these threads of tension building up, and then you have, boom, you find out the Going Merry is fucked. It's not going to be able, you can't repair it. It's barely on its last legs, which is realistic because it's not a big ship. It's not a very sturdy ship. It's amazing that it survived the beatdown the Straw Hats have put on it without a shipwright. And that then spirals into the issue you have with Usopp. Usopp is now feeling like he doesn't have any kind of place at all. He's going to be cast out like they cast out the Going Merry because he's not useful anymore. That's how he views it, even though objectively he knows that the Going Merry can't be their ship. And the crew doesn't view him as useless or replaceable, but he has all these different kinds of tensions that are building up in him that, the fight between him and Luffy is one of those just absolutely gut-wrenching moments, because you see two people who have been like really close friends. Luffy and Usopp are probably the closest friends on the crew. Especially at that point, like I think even now you could say they're two guys who understand each other so much. They both have this childlike fascination and wonder for the world. And they're always doing things together, dancing, having fun, being goofy together, because that's what they're both goofy, ridiculous guys, right? Luffy to an extent, beyond. But that's who they are, right? And seeing them fight like that so seriously and do so much damage to each other is horrible. And then you have the complex story of Frankie and how much you hate him to start with, and you understand him, all the tragedy he goes through, which we're going to get into Enies Lobby in a second. And then Robin, where Robin has to go and deal with this again, Enies Lobby, but there's so many different tensions, points of tensions in Water 7. And there's so many different ticking clocks, right? You have the Aqua Laguna coming in, a giant wave that's going to crush huge parts of the city. You have the military, the world government, and CP9 betraying Galila and taking Robin off to Enies Lobby. And you have to catch the train, but the train leaves early. And so many different pieces of tension, that just build into one of the most fun and exciting arcs, Enies Lobby. And I put Enies Lobby over Water 7. I feel like they should be one, to be honest. I view them as one because they're one connected story, right? To me, it's like Giant Skypiea in a way, but like even closer. Water 7 flows into Enies Lobby so seamlessly, where you have the entire Straw Hat crew trying to save Robin from her own desire to throw herself on the sacrificial pyre. You have the Frankie family trying to save Frankie. You understand why Frankie is an enemy of the world government. Why again, Pluton comes back into it. We get that brought back from Alabasta. These imposing weapons that exist. The threat of the world government, not the Navy. The Navy's a part of it, but it's not the Navy, decidedly. This is the world government. Understanding what the world government is, what they are trying to go after, and how underhanded and ruthless they are. Constantly. You have one of the best scenes in all of One Piece, where the Straw Hats are being told that if they move on with what they're doing here, if they decide to wage war against CP9, that they're waging war against the world government, they're waging war against the world. And Luffy, cool as a cucumber, shoot that flag. Amazing scene. You also have the introduction of everyone's favorite character, Sogeking. Amazing. The restraint of Oda to introduce a character as impactful as Sogeking, and use them so sparingly. You barely ever get to see them. A lot of his abilities have been absorbed by Usopp, of course, probably taking inspiration from his good friend. Very interesting, though. Very interesting. I love it. I love. This also, again, carries over what started in Alabasta, the whole setup of the different Straw Hats fighting against and pairing off against members of CP9. The way they do that's very interesting. I think, again, you get great moments for every single character. Great moments for Frankie. I love Frankie. Frankie's one of my favorite characters, and him being introduced here. He has some amazing moments. The way he believes in and trusts Robin, going from like him and Iceberg have like spent most of their lives fearing Nico Robin for her ability to be able to restore Pluton, the threat that she could possess, that she could bring to the world, and him putting his trust in her and telling her again that it's not a crime for her to exist. And leading up to that moment where she says that she wants to live. And there's heartbreaking arcs. This is also the beginning of Gears, Gear 2 and Gear 3. Luffy adding on to his skill set. You get a whole team of people that is competent, incredibly competent. And you have to see, how all the Straw Hats have to take them on. You get to see, like, the extent to like what full go means for a lot of them, like Chopper's monster form, incredible stuff. I mean, you even get stuff like Zoro losing his sword, like one of his swords, which he hasn't, like it felt like, to me, as someone watching it blind and not knowing, that he would get different swords later on, I was just like, he lost the special sword he got from Alabasta, from Loguetown. The sword shop guy trusted him with that. It was his prized possession, and it's just rusted away and destroyed. It's just a gut punch. That was also a gut punch. I felt for that sword. But this is one of those arcs that builds on the world building, has so many different great villains, Rob Lucci being the chief among them, but also fucking Standa. What a piece of shit. Spanda? Who gives a shit? Fuck him. Fuck Spanda. And also, like, probably one of the best flashbacks in all of One Piece, Robin's flashback. If you're not like on the verge of tears or not crying when you're seeing Robin's homeland being genocided, I don't know like what else you can say. Like and like you feel how dangerous the world government is. You see how ruthless they are. Just the way that like literally everyone she's ever known is killed just like that. Or like always the thing that always held to me was Soul and his the giant and his laugh, Derashi Derashi shi 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 Derashi Derashi shi 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 shi. And the moments of Robin trying to repeat that, it's just so heartbreaking, so sad, so beautiful in a way, but as well, but just perfect arc. I love it so much. Okay, now this isn't gonna be up with Enies Lobby. It's gonna be put down here. Post Enies Lobby. I kind of need to put Post Enies Lobby down in A because I want to put it up here, but by my own rules, I should probably put it below Baratier. Post Enies Lobby introduces one of my favorite characters. Truly introduces my favorite one of my favorite characters in Monkey D. Garp. I got his boat right here. Yeah, look at that. Look at that. Garp! Introduces Luffy's dad, who was apparently in fucking Loguetown. Again, this is one of those moments that like blows my mind. Is like, for me, when I was watching through it, I was watching through it before, like, I wasn't looking at any, like, this is back in like 2012, 2013. I'm not on the forums. I'm not on Twitter as like, I'm not getting like my Twitter algo bombarding me with all these different takes about One Piece. I'm not looking at the Reddit and stuff and like getting my own like thoughts filtered through all these different people or asshole YouTubers talking about stuff and trying to give me their own perspectives. How dare they? No. But for real, like getting like going through Post Enies Lobby and being like, oh, I remember that random dude all the way back from Loguetown. That was Luffy's dad. And he's a revolutionary. And just like it's so beautiful. It's so beautiful. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Also, the reintroduction of Colby and Helmeppo and the bringing back, actually introducing the Thousand Sunny, adding Frankie to the official crew. And one of my favorite moments, I think a good moment to remember in general, is Zoro laying down the law and what it means to bring back Usopp. And I think that's one of those like really impactful scenes because it's a scene that, like, even outside of what it means in the crew for Usopp to have done what he did, to start a fight with Luffy, to leave the crew like that. The narrative hammering down on that and being like, you can't just have fights like that with your friends and come back like it's nothing. You can't just blow up like that because you won't fix the issue. You need to acknowledge what you did. You need to apologize for what you did. And the fact that you have that, like, that moment for Usopp, who's a character who's never honest with himself, never really wants to accept real humility or responsibility in that kind of way, having to confront that and really apologize. Beautiful. We love Post Enies Lobby. It's just like moments like that. It's just like moments like that that really nailed down how emotionally smart Oda is and how much emotional thought he puts into these characters and these dynamics. So, great arc. Great arc. Yeah, we did go through Enies Lobby, but yeah. Something fix it in post. Yeah. Sure. What'd you gotta say? If it's worthy. If it's worthy. Okay. Enies Lobby is a big enough deal that Robin's VA, Stephanie Young, has been told by multiple fans this arc gave them the will to keep living. Wow. That's impactful. That's impactful. That's Oda's writing right there. I mean, you have those characters. You have Frankie and Luffy hammering down on Robin, being like, "Hey, you're not a crime for existing. You are not alone. We are here for you. We are your like." Frankie isn't saying that I'm your friend. He's like, he's just trying to be there. But like the entire Straw Hat crew is trying to like make it clear to Robin, we care about you. We don't care about all the baggage you have in your previous life. You don't care about everything you have going on. We're friends with you right now. We're friends with you for who you are. We're here to stand by you. And yeah, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. You have to live, Robin. Ugh. It's just Enies Lobby is just one of those arcs where just I don't know how you can get I don't know how you can really get like something as tragic as that again, to be honest. I really don't. I really don't. Okay. After Enies Lobby, we have a bit of a come down arc, which introduces another one of the fan favorite characters, Thriller Bark. Now, Thriller Bark is here. Thriller Bark is below post Enies Lobby, but above Jaya. Thriller Bark is great in a lot of ways. I mean, a lot of the things that carries Thriller Bark is the fact that, one, it introduces Brook. Two, it's a very horror themed, goofy, campy Halloween style horror themed island. There's some messiness with it. A lot of the villains aren't the best, you know. Like Gecko Moria is probably one of the more annoying later first half of the Grand Line arcs. Probably the just a piece of shit. He has the same problem that a lot of these other villains do. Again, where they are an asshole that you want to see get beaten down, but they just don't feel like they're that impactful. They don't feel like they're that threatening. Like Crocodile feels threatening. NL feels threatening. Arlong at the time felt threatening. Rob Lucci in the gang feels threatening. Gecko Moria, he didn't feel like a threat. Thriller Bark was one of my favorite Usopp moments where he wins by having low self-esteem and by being an unapologetic prankster. Yes, that's great. There's a lot of fun character moments in Thriller Bark. There's fun character moments for Zoro. There's fun character moments for Brook. I mean, speaking of of heartbreaking backstories, Brook's backstory, that on its own might bump it up to S. It's not going to for now. I'm leaving it where it is. But Brook's backstory on its own, incredible. If I was judging it based off of that, just fantastic. The Zoro moment, the nothing happened, just you're gonna get this a lot from people. Aura, just unspeakable aura. He pain mogged everybody else. The party after that is one of my favorites. The introduction of Binks Sake as a story, or Binks's brew as a song. Amazing scene. It's one of the single best scenes in all of One Piece. The Binks's brew final song for Brook scene for Brook and his crew. Just one of the best singular scenes in all of One Piece. One of the best singular episodes in all of One Piece. I'll be real. Just it has a mix of both being tragic but also upbeat, and fun because you know where things are and where they're at now, but all and fun because it's such a cheery, easy to sing along with song, and yeah, there's a lot of complicated um, feelings about Thriller Bark. Like the actual core fights, I feel, aren't my favorites. They're not the ones that stick out to me. I don't remember them as much. You know, they're not really as especially funny. Outside of Usopp's, they're not like especially funny. They're not as especially exciting. They're not as especially threatening. The atmosphere is great. Brook as a character is great. His backstory is great. Puts it an A for sure, but it doesn't elevate past that, unfortunately. That's great. It's a fun arc though. It's a really fun time. The good Halloween arc. Really good Halloween arc. Some really funny moments. It's a really funny arc too. I don't want to dwell on it too long here because we do have some of the crucial ones here. We have some heavy hitters. Now, Sabaody. I'm gonna say it. Sabaody's above Alabasta for me. Sabaody's above Alabasta. And a few things are going to be over. I mean, and this is not to say that Alabasta is an S tier. Of course, it's S tier. But Sabaody, oh my gosh. This is the introduction of. This is. You have the crew on their way to Fishman Island. And they have to go to Sabaody to get their boat coated. And so they explore this big, vast island archipelago. All these different fun shopping districts. You know, they meet a bunch of the other rookies, the big rookies that hitting the seas the same time as Luffy. You have the introduction of celestial dragons, and you've been introduced to in Enies Lobby in Water 7. You were introduced to Aokiji and the threat of admirals, but Sabaody is where you see the threat of admirals. Sabaody, so outside of like Alabasta, maybe parts of Enies Lobby, the Straw Hats have basically cruised through the front half of the Grand Line. And Sabaody, they hit a wall. They hit a wall. They hit pacifistas, and they hit an admiral. They hit they actually get their shit rocked. They hit Kuma. Like actually, they hit Kuma trying to not fight them. We understand what he does later, but like you actually get this when you're watching Sabaody for the first time and you don't really know what's going on. Especially when you're watching the anime, you know, because the anime does a great job of this. Because the anime version is so well animated and so well acted, you feel like the threat of everything going on here. First off, I'll go back and say, great introduction to Fishman. This is near Fishman Island. It's great to bring back Fishman, have some little bit a connection back to Arlong Park with Hachi, and it's really fun, and it's really interesting to get. You know, it's been hinted at before, but there's slavery. We understand what slavery looks like, Little Nora. There's world nobles. We understand what those look like. Now, the hierarchy that exists here, the fact that they are just inhuman. The world government exists to keep these assholes around. Like, these are billionaires. You know, this is modern day billionaires. This is the world bends to these people, right? They could do whatever they want. They could shoot a man in the middle of the street. It doesn't matter. No one's going to stop them, you know? And if anyone tries to, they're going to have hell raining down on them. And it is, yeah, it is the first time the Straw Hats explicitly totally lose. Because the times that they lost, like the times Luffy lost in Alabasta, or the setbacks they may have had, like in Water 7, with chasing after CP9, they got back off the floor immediately and kept on charging, you know, kept on fighting. Sabaody, there's no coming back. There's no getting off the mat. They're all separated. They're gone from each other, right? You get that you get such a satisfying moment. The satisfaction you get of Luffy punching the celestial dragon right in the fucking face, punching that asshole right in the fucking face. That perfectly, like the impact of that is so good. It is such a nice catharsis. A catharsis that a lot of these other villains that try to make you feel that tension of like, oh, I hate this villain. I just want to see him get punched. It makes it even worse because, like, I talked about how like villains like Walpole don't do it for me. And part of it's because they're so weak. But like for St. Charles, I believe is his name, right? Hold on. Carlos, right? Is it Carlos? Alright, Cammy. Do Cammy Hutchen. Celestial Dragon. So it was Rayleigh, he's kid. Or just double checking the name, making sure I got it right. Yes, Carlos. Okay. It's such a great moment. Like the impact you get of him punching Carlos right in the face, punching the Celestial Dragon Carlos in the face is such a release of catharsis that, again, like we've talked about it in these previous arcs, like they have those villains that try to make you hate them so much. You just want to see them get their comeuppance. They suck. They don't know what's coming to them. They don't understand. Like Walpole, again, great example. A guy who isn't that powerful. You just want to see Luffy beat down on them, right? And Carlos isn't even strong, not nearly as strong. But like the fact that he's such a rich, annoying, ugly piece of shit, and seeing just Luffy just punch him right in the fucking face, and the impact frames of the anime's portrayal of it's perfection. It is one of my favorite moments in all of One Piece. So perfect, so perfect, so perfect. Even though it's you understand immediately after why everyone was scared of him doing that, why no one wanted him to do that, and the fact that they back up that fear that people have for hurting the Celestial Dragons, the fact that they immediately back it up by having, yes, as you said, Yellowwing, the first time the Straw Hats explicitly, totally lose, is amazing. It's crazy, and you have the fact that you have Silver's Rayleigh, like one of the second hand to the King of the Pirates here, helping defend the Straw Hats. The fact that you have Trafalgar D. Law here, you have Eustace Kid, you have all these different characters that are being introduced, like that you're being bombarded with. They're going to be super impactful going on later in the series, and seeing their first moments working together and working against each other, and just, ugh. It is one of those arcs that leaves you at the end feeling depressed, and you don't get that from any other arc in One Piece, I don't think. Like even what we're going to talk about later, like the feeling of just loss you get in Sabaody, even when you realize that Kuma wasn't trying to kill them, wasn't trying to destroy them, just trying to separate them to protect the Straw Hats. Like he was actually protecting the Straw Hats and what he was doing. Even once you learn that, like just the loss and like the utter defeat in Luffy, you see him just absolutely lose at the thing that he cared about most, which is protecting the people he loves. He's utterly and totally fails. And it's great because it's a wake-up call for our heroes, being like, hey, you're not as strong as you think you are. You're strong for sure. It gets worse. There's a reason no one's found the One Piece. It's not easy. And there's a lot of other people who've been doing this way longer than you, and we're going to get to that in a moment. But that's what Sabaody introduces. It's like, hey, the world is bigger than what you've seen. A lot bigger. A lot bigger. Like One Piece has also been really political going on, but like this is like class dynamics come in heavy in One Piece here with the introduction of the Celestial Dragons, like the introduction of real like actually understanding like class and how that exists in One Piece, and it exists in such a structured, cruel way. It's like the caste system that really exists here that's not really talked about. It's alluded to. It's alluded to as far back as Arlong Park, but the buildup you have over it until it's really explicit in Sabaody is some of Oda's masterwork. It's the thing that he's so good at is just building up his world slowly over time and calling back to all the things that he set up before, little threads that he's left that he can pull back and tie in. You're like, wow, I can't. It's cool. It's great. No one does it better than him. No one does it better than him. So Sabaody's up here. Amazon Lily, though, is a B tier arc. Amazon Lily is one of those ones. It's just, I kind of like, oh yeah, it's cool. Nice little island Luffy has to deal with. It kind of feels like it's one of those arcs where I don't really think of Amazon Lily itself. I think of it more as just like, oh yeah, we needed like a get right moment after Sabaody before we go into the next arc. We need to like catch up with where all the Straw Hats are. What's going on, recontextualizing everything and like getting us back on track after the trauma of Sabaody, right? So it serves a narrative purpose. It does exactly what it needs to. It's very important in that way. I just don't find it to be the most. It's like one of those ones that's like, okay, I'm ready to skip through it. I get the Luffy, first guy on an all-women island. Cool. Can we move on? Can we get to the thing that we really care about, which is the fact that Luffy has now found out that his brother is in prison. And that brings us to Impel Down, which is right above Sabaody. Right above Sabaody. Impel Down. Oof, oof, oof. Amazon Lily was an okay One Piece arc. Even an okay arc is still generally good. Also, no King Buggy, so all arcs get left. Okay. Impel Down. Now, Impel Down's crazy. Impel Down's crazy. So, okay. We're hundreds of episodes into One Piece. Hundreds and hundreds of episodes into One Piece, right? Chapters into One Piece as well. Chapters, episodes. We're way into One Piece, right? We've had so many different villains, so many different characters that we've, fought against and dealt with and met or heard about. And then you come to Impel Down. And you have the culmination of right after and post Enies Lobby. Post Enies Lobby is where Ace gets captured. Impel Down is where that really comes back into play because Luffy learns about it. Luffy understands that his brother is about to be executed. And he has to go save him. He has to go to Impel Down. Insane thing for him to do, but he thankfully has gone to Amazon Lily and the Boa Hancock is. And the Queen of Amazon Lily, Boa Hancock, has of course fallen in love with him because who wouldn't fall in love with Luffy? And she uses her powers as one of the warlords of the sea to do him a solid, to help him out, to try to get him to save his brother. And Impel Down is hell. It is actual like it is shaped to be. It kind of looks like the Tower of Babel. Like if you look at Impel Down, let's look at Impel Down. So if you look at Impel Down, if you look at Impel Down as a prison, it is this prison underneath the sea with levels and levels, giant sea kings all over the place. It's in the Calm Belt. It's hard to access. It is filled with all of the deadliest prisoners, all the series, and all everyone that's been caught and is still alive and captured by the world government. And it looks like the Tower of Babel. Like like artistic depiction of the Tower of Babel. It looks just like that to me. And inside of it is hell. Impel Down is hell. It is very Dante's Inferno in that way, where every single level of Impel Down is a new type of hell with new types of prisoners, and there's fire, there's ice, there is all these different types of torture and ways that they take care of all these hardened criminals of the One Piece world. And it is a mad dash of Luffy from the top to the bottom to find his brother. And along the way, you meet so many characters. It is, like, again, one of the best parts about One Piece. I talked about this here as a setup thing that they did in Loketown. One of the best parts about One Piece is villains exist in the world even after Luffy beats them. They still are people. You see Buggy again. Buggy's back. See Mr. 3. But fun old Mr. 3. You see fucking everyone's the goddamn goat. The goddamn goat, Bon Clay. Bon Clay's back here again. And you get all these characters that were Luffy's enemies that all join together because they want to escape too, and Bon Clay wants to help out his bro. And they go on this mad adventure. And it's great because it's like the first time you ever get a full arc of Luffy completely separate from the crew. Crew is gone, right? And it's not Straw Hats, it's Luffy's adventure. And he doesn't have all of his friends to rely on, he has his enemies to rely on. And Bon Clay, who's a friend. And the mad dash through that. Oh, the Warden, the Poison Man. Ugh. The fact that everyone in there is like the guards are devils. It's such a, it literally is like a hell. It's a hell on earth. And the mad dash through Impel Down is one I'm going to rewatch it soon because I'm currently on a rewatch of One Piece. I'm really excited for Impel Down of all of them because there's just so much that happens in this, and you go back, you're like, wow, they did so much in this singular arc. They introduced so many characters. They brought back so many characters. You get Crocodile. You finally get Luffy meeting Jinbei. Again, Buggy's back. Buggy's back. And you have Luffy just coalescing this army together to follow him. You get Luffy meeting friends of his dad, like Ivankov, another amazing character. We should talk about how like Impel Down also brings in a lot of like you had a queer character. A lot of Baroque works is pretty queer coded, especially like Mr. 3 or Bon Clay, especially. But like, and if you believe what is to say about Crocomon, maybe Crocodile himself. But you get so many more queer characters, and those queer characters being explicitly members of the Revolutionary Army, siding with Luffy, aiding him in ways that he could not have made it through if it wasn't for them. Just this reckless mad dash he has to go on. Impel Down feels like an arc that's constantly moving. There is a couple breaks, and there's there's a little bit of a break in it, but other than that, it is like constantly moving, constantly churning, because we are on a clock. We have to save Ace before he's taken to be killed. And they fail. Luffy fails again. He's not able to find him. He's not able to get to him. And this is super difficult for him. He is not able to just barrel his way through this because he is again fighting in the most secure prison in the One Piece world, the prison of prisons, right? That no one's ever broken out of. Oh, and the story coming up is even better. Like him bringing everybody up, like bringing this whole host of pirates with him to escape. Just incredible, incredibly fun arc. And of course the sacrifice of Bon Clay. We love it. We love Impel Down here. And it's immediately topped by one of the greatest arcs in One Piece. Is it better than Enies Lobby? Is it better than Water 7? It is. Marineford. The War of the Best. The War of the Greats. The One War. This is the arc that truly doesn't feel like Luffy's the main character. Like, he is, and like Luffy plays an important role in this, but this is an arc that for the most part feels like it's about something else entirely. The execution of Ace. It is the culmination of all the things we've seen of Whitebeard and the Whitebeard pirates, all the things we've heard about the most powerful man in the One Piece world. All living up to everything they said about him. They've already set up the 4 emperors, the fact that there's 4 extremely powerful pirates that help keep the world in balance. And you think, how powerful are they? What is their power level compared to the Marines? And you see almost the full might of the Marines paired up against the full might of the Whitebeard pirates, and you truly get an idea of the scale of power that exists in the One Piece world, the threat that exists in the One Piece world. Oof. Let me tell you, this is one of those arcs again, like that constantly moves, constantly things are happening, and it's one of those things that's been set up. It's been set up since before Posthumous Lobby. No. It wasn't Posthumous Lobby that was set this up. It's like Skypiea. It's like Jaya. Post Alabasta. Like Jaya, I think, is when this started to get set up here. Like, no, Alabasta itself is when this started here, because that's when you meet Ace, and that's when you learn about Ace trying to catch the Blackbeard pirates. Right? You learn about the Blackbeard pirates in Drum Island, but Alabasta is where you really get this. Ace is here. He's looking for Blackbeard. You get warnings from Shanks trying to stop him, trying to talk Whitebeard out of this path to destruction. You get all this stuff happening in the background in side pieces and little chapters here and there, segments of episodes, all building up to this giant war. The full force of the Marines, the full force of the Whitebeard pirates, and every single pirate crew that works under him. And just seeing how hard it is, how powerful everyone is. And you got Luffy in the middle of it, looking like a punk kid. You understand why, like, someone like Whitebeard doesn't really respect him. He respects him, but like, he doesn't see him as like equal to him, because Luffy's not equal to him. Luffy is a chump compared to the people he has to fight against. He's a chump compared to Marines. He's a chump compared to the admirals. He's a chump compared to some of the upper tier of the warlords. You get Gecko Moria coming back. You get Mihawk coming back. Boa Hancock's here. Luffy's grandpa Garp is here. You get everything. Kuma is here. The Pacifistas and the massive impact they have. There's just so much going on in Marineford that is just a culmination of everything that's happened in every single one of these previous arcs. Every single one of these previous arcs plays into what is happening here. From Orange Town with Buggy, from Romance Dawn with the introduction of Luffy in general, but like from his beginnings here to Marineford, villains from all throughout the story are here. Everyone's here. It's like it's like the Super Smash Bros. Commercial. Everyone's here. This is what it is. This is what truly sets it up that Luffy isn't ready. Sabaody made that clear. Impel Down reinforced it, but Marineford was the nail in the coffin that Luffy does not have it. He is not ready. He gets bitch slapped. He fails. And he fails in the most impactful way, because you have the things that I have criticized Oda about so many times, that the problem that I have with him in Skypiea and in Alabasta, these fake out deaths, they come back and they're not fake outs anymore. It's real death, real impact, real pain. That's what you get in Marineford. Real pain. You feel it. You feel it. Don't it hurt? You get some of the most tragic parts of One Piece right here. And it just gears you up and gets you ready for their next adventures to see what's going to happen next. There's not much I can really say about this just outside of wow. It's one of those things that like only a series like One Piece could really do, because it took hundreds and hundreds, years and years of setup from all of this just for a mid-story finale, the mid-story finale. Like this is the midway point of the story. Whether that it turns out like that in chapter length isn't important. It's not going to be that in chapter length. This is the midpoint thematically in the story, where you see the real old guard change, move next, past Whitebeard. There's so many other things I could talk about with Marineford, and the symbolism that it goes into it, the complex emotions that so many characters have to go through, from Garp, of course, to Luffy, Ace, Whitebeard, what Whitebeard is dealing with. Just beautiful arc, masterpiece in storytelling, one of the greatest arcs in anime. Well, honestly, I don't think any other anime could pull off an arc like this, to pull off a war on such a grand scale and make it feel mind-blowing like this. Truly nothing like it. Okay. Post-war, though. Post-war is a B. Post-war of Marineford is one of those ones where, like, you get some cool arcs with, like, Luffy's backstory, more so, which is good. Not my favorite. I don't love it. Sabo's nice and all, but Sabo's a real asshole kind of character. I'm sorry. Yeah, I love Sabo. I think he does a lot of good things, but hey, kind of this, here's another character. Another one of Luffy's brothers. Yeah, okay. Whatever. It's fine. That's not a hate on Sabo, but it's just, it feels a little... Okay, sure. It does set up the 2-year time skip, and you feel, because of these past few arcs, you understand why that's necessary, why they need to spend years getting themselves right, getting themselves geared up for their return to Sabaody, which is, I'm going to say... I'm going to put it above the Baratie. Return to Sabaody. Upper A. Return to Sabaody is one of those ones where you're ready to get back on track. The story's been derailed. Since Sabaody, the story has been derailed. The crew has been far flung from each other. And seeing them all get back together, seeing their new designs, the ways they've grown and changed over the years that you saw in the post-war arc, and you see here all culminate, is super fun. Really makes you excited for what comes next. Really makes you geared up for what new adventures the crew is going to have in the Grand Line. Return to Sabaody isn't that long of an arc. There's not a whole lot I have to say about it. It does its job really well. It's high up there because, you know, it is so important. And it does get you right back into it. You're excited. You're getting geared. The Straw Hats are together. We're going on an adventure. And then they go to Fishman Island, and it's a C tier. Well, that's mean. That's mean. Upper C tier. Top of C. Top of C. Fishman Island is an arc that has so much going for it. So much going for it. Fishman Island's an arc that has a great setup. From Arlong Park to Sabaody, you've seen all the different types of struggles fishmen have, as they are a persecuted minority in this world. They're constantly dealing with people trying to enslave them, constantly dealing with violence against them, threats to their cities, threats to their people, the kind of animosity that can spring from that. You get the background behind Arlong, the background behind Jinbei, why these characters have had to deal with so much, what their sun tattoos mean. You know, there is so much set up here for like the civil rightsness of it all, the fight for civil rights, the fight for freedom, the fight for recognition that they are worthy of respect, just like any other race of people. And like people, not like they're not humans, you know, but they're living, thinking organisms that deserve respect, deserve equal treatment to everybody else, even if they're like that. It's an arc that's dealing with all of that, but it is hobbled by the fact that it is longer than it needs to be. This goes for the same for the manga. You know, we're talking about the anime, but talking about, you know, anime is way worse, and they had to redo it. They ran back and redo it. The same thing is true for the manga, where it just goes on a bit too long. It has the same problem that a lot of these arcs have, like Drum Island, Baratie, and Jaya, and Thriller Bark, where the villain, Hody Jones, and like all of his gang of assholes, I just don't give a shit about them. I just really don't give a shit about them. I don't find them that interesting. I don't find them that compelling. I don't find them to be really anything. I don't give a shit about them. I just don't. I'm sorry. I don't like feeling like that, but I do. So Fishman Island had a whole bunch of potential. There's some good funny moments in it. Some good moments. The Sanji bit's a bit too much. Sanji's nose bleeding is a bit ridiculous. But we leave it in C. Upper C. Potential, but it's not better than that. Getting back on track. Punk Hazard. Punk Hazard's a classic arc, but I think it's upper B. I'm gonna put it above Romance Dawn. I feel like Punk Hazard is upper B. Now, Punk Hazard is Punk Hazard's the beginning, really, of the new world, right? This new section of the Grand Line that the whole crew has to deal with. And it sets up Trafalgar Law and Luffy's relationship, having to deal with Smile and these experiments being done on all these children. But it's all together kind of a forgettable arc on its own. It's not the most memorable. Really think about it. Are your favorite moments in Punk Hazard? Are your most mind-blowing moments in Punk Hazard? No. They're not. Punk Hazard's okay. We've gone through here. We've already the first two arcs of the New World. We've already ranked pretty low. I don't like ranking them that low because I don't want to seem like I'm only hyping up the old stuff, because I'm not. Because Dressrosa, I think it's just above Skypiea for me. Maybe it's above Arlong Park. It's above Arlong Park. Yeah, Dressrosa is great. Dressrosa is one of those Dressrosa and the introduction of, again, this is going to be hampered if you're an anime watcher because pacing and all that was really messed up. But the story of Dressrosa, the impact of Dressrosa, it's an S tier arc for me because, one, the villain is one of the best villains in all of One Piece, which is, of course, Don Quixote. Doflamingo Don Quixote. One of the best villains in all of One Piece. Don Quixote Doflamingo is one of the best because he is a celestial dragon, a fallen celestial dragon who has so much resentment to the celestial dragons, but he also feels like he's better than everybody else. He's an asshole. He's a villain. He's a ruthless villain. He is like Crocodile, right? Where he is absolutely fucking ruthless. And like the whole island of Dressrosa, when you're initially introduced to it, the fact that it's this hot, fun, happy island with all these different living toys, the horror, the reveal for that, when it's revealed what those toys really are, Oh my god, I was horrified. Hi. Talking about One Piece. Did you get Mexican food?
No, we actually went to Gino's,
Geno's.
which is like an Italian American restaurant
Oh, okay.
in Monroe.
Okay.
They gave Alexis a free slice of pie because it's her birthday.
Oh,
They
nice.
gave her a fat slice of lemon meringue pie.
Nice.
And she was like, Grandpa Bob already gave me this Lego set. I'm like, how is that even possible that he gave that to you for your birthday last year? This just came out.
Huh. This was they already have it?
No, she can't. It was released in August of 2025. How would she have
Really?
gotten it for her birthday in May of 2025?
No, yeah, she wouldn't have. There's no way she did. What is she thinking of then?
I have no idea.
Maybe she needs a model kit?
I have no idea.
I don't know. Well, hey, they got it.
Yeah.
Alright, I'm gonna get back to this. Alright. Okay. Sorry, back on it. The twist in Dressrosa, when you find out what those toys really are, insane. That's an insane twist. I love, like, the actual places that this arc goes that I felt like One Piece wouldn't. It feels a lot more brutal than One Piece has been before. It feels a lot more horrifying than One Piece has allowed itself to be before. Like, the impact of a lot of what a lot of the characters have gone through is just heartbreaking. And again, an amazing villain who thrives in everything that he's done to these people, who loves everything that he's done, who rejoices and revels in it because he's such a fucking prick. You have the upgrades to Luffy, Gear 4, you know, him actually reaching another level of power, which on its own, like, you know, another level of power. He's gotten even more powerful with his new Super Saiyan form, you know. I get it. But Gear 4 is fun. I like Gear 4. It's growing on me a lot. It is crazy. Dressrosa is crazy. Like, it has so much potential and it lives up to that. There's so many great moments. And the moment to end off this arc, to cap off this arc, you get all these different cool people that you've met. So many characters are introduced here. So many cool characters are introduced and, like, given their moments to shine. And when you get to the moment at the end of this arc, when you get the Straw Hat fleet and the way that they come about that, the perfect characterization of Luffy, the perfect characterization of people who would serve under Luffy. I love it so much. The fact that Luffy doesn't want a whole bunch of people to follow him. He wants to be free. Just be a bunch of friends. We could just all be friends that work together. We don't have to be a hierarchy. And they all say, we do have freedom of choice. We choose to make you our fleet admiral. Fuck you. And he's like, fuck, what do you mean? I love it. It's perfect. Oh. Okay, so I feel like I need to add another row here. I'm gonna add S plus. I'm gonna do it. We're gonna add a row above. I'm gonna make this S. I'm gonna make this S plus. I can't not do it at this point. I have to. Okay. We're going to move a few up here because there just is a little bit of a delineation I want to put. I want to make sure it's clear between, I think, Sabaody and these ones. S plus, these are S plus. S plus. Just going to make that clear. Okay. We're not going to add any other plus or minus tiers, but make that S plus. Okay. Zoe is a solid A, I feel like. Now, does it an A? It's a B. It's a B. Ugh, it's above Romance Dawn, but it's a B. You know what? Zoe is such a cool concept, right? The concept of a giant elephant, ancient beast walking through the ocean with an island, with a bunch of people on top of him, living on this giant elephant, having a whole society and culture of animal people on top of there. Um, that's cool. It just kind of feels like one of those like placeholder filler arcs. Same thing like Amazon Lily, right? It's one of those or post-war. It's a come down arc, right? We had Dressrosa. Yeah, we're gonna come down here. We're gonna relax a little bit. Just relax a little bit here. I was just trying not to make too much noise. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I'm sorry. That was mean. I'm sorry.
All I did was go to the bathroom, man.
This is the door.
All I
The door
did
was loud.
go to the bathroom.
You're fine. I'm sorry. I'm being mean. Shut up, woman. I appreciate you. I'm sorry.
Canceled if you keep talking like that.
Damn right it will be. Did you know I found out it was my streamer anniversary today?
Oh, perfect.
I forgot to
Nice.
reset it. Because usually I set it for my actual
Oh
birthday.
my God, your Twitch channel has the same birthday as my daughter.
My affiliate does, yes. I've been affiliate for 9 years now. It's crazy. All right. Okay, back to it. But yeah, Zoe's just like one of these come down arcs. Zoe is one of these come down arcs, like Amazon Lily, like post war. It is coming down off the highs of the previous arc. And Dressrosa, you know, does deserve a little bit of a breather between it, but it's just not as, I don't know, it's just not as, there's not as much going on. A lot of the characters I meet there aren't the most lovable, aren't the ones that I care about the most. It's okay. It's good. Eh, eh, eh. Cool. Moving on. We move on. It's not a whole lot to say about Zoe, I feel like. It's a cool concept. You get some more lore. I like the lore stuff. But overall, I don't know. It doesn't feel like it's like anything more than that, right? Whole Cake Island. Whole Cake Island's hard. I feel like Whole Cake Island should be S. It feels a little bloated. I don't even know if I'd put it above Arlong Park. Oh. There we go. I'll put it right. I'll put it above Skypiea, below Arlong Park. I love Whole Cake Island. This is like the real crucial like arc for Sanji, right? Where you get a real true backstory for Sanji. Really understand where Sanji has been, what his history is. You know, in ways that you thought you knew, but you never really did. You know, and then emotional beats that they have in Whole Cake Island are really interesting, really fun. Big Mom, really imposing villain. her island again has a lot of similarities to Dressrosa, of having this island of happiness and cheer, of all these different things that are alive that really shouldn't be, and just making that horrifying in a way, just absolutely horrifying. Good little bait and switch there. It just goes on a bit too long, and I don't personally. The Germa 66 are 66 people. I don't know. They kind of again have they Germa 66 has the problem of a lot of these ones again, where villains that are annoying that you want to see get their comeuppance, but they really don't have a lot that I care about to them. Big Mom is someone that is like crazy. Big Mom is like, I mean, they're one of the four emperors of the sea. You know, they are crazy and powerful. They're crazy imposing. The chase scene leaving Whole Cake Island is ridiculous, and it goes on so long, and in ways that justify it because it's Big Mom coming after you. But like Luffy's fight with Kakakure, Kakakure. Katakuri. Katakuri. But Luffy's fight with Katakuri and all the different little minor pieces that go on there. There's real sacrifice, there's real death. There's a lot of good character moments, especially for Sanji, where you really, I feel like, break new ground with him and understand him more as a person in ways that there was more depth for him there. It always felt like there may have been a little bit missing. You get more of that. But overall, some of the villains don't really work for me. Germa doesn't really work for me. But I mean, it's an S tier because enough of it does, right? Big Mom does work. Big Mom as the main villain does work. It's just not as. I think I have to put it below Skypiea, honestly. I think I have to. I don't know. I'll leave it. I'll leave Whole Cake Island there. Reverie. I actually really love the Reverie. I actually really love it. I might put it above Alabasta, honestly. Reverie's above Alabasta. That's a hard one to say. Because this is a world building arc. This is a come down arc, right? This is a Zoe. This is like Amazon Lily's post war. This is a come down off of Whole Cake Island. But it feels like this is going to be true for Wano and Egghead, as we're going to go into. It feels like after Whole Cake Island, instead of calming it down, we get hit by world building. We get hit by the world politics. We get hit by what's happening to every other character going on. And those moments are crazy. Big things are happening. Big things are happening out there in the world that Luffy and his friends don't know about yet, that it's going to have major impact for stuff going further on in the story. Even right now, they don't fully know about everything going on. Right? Reverie's a good arc. Reverie's a really good arc. It's a quick arc, but it's good. One that's not quick, though. We only have 2 left. We're nearly done here. Wano. Is Wano S+? Is Wano S? Is it an A? Wano's up here. Okay, so like, Wano's helped a lot by the fact that its animation's great for the anime viewers. It's hurt a little bit by its bloat, but it's also the culmination of what we've been doing since Punk Hazard. Like, this has been set up since Punk Hazard. This is a culmination arc, right? For a whole saga that's been going on. And I think it is... controversial. I think it's below Sabaody. I know a lot of other people don't really rank it that high, but I think a lot of stuff that happens in Wano is so wild. First off, the setting, a feudal Japan like island. You have Kaido and Big Mom. You have Luffy finding another gear. You have all these different big, impactful character moments, and I can't imagine placing Wano anything lower than an S tier. I just think it's that good, right? I just think it's that good. It's hard for me to really put it into words because there's so much that happens to it. It's a very long arc. It's a very, very long arc. Even like when it feels like it's going by quickly, there's so many chapters. It's so much fighting, but it feels like that fighting is warranted. Like the different parts of the arc, like even in itself, it's separated into parts. But like understanding where Wano has been, what it means to all these characters that are fighting for Wano, what it means to the Straw Hats that are coming in with their own baggage, actually teaming up with Eustace Kid, the culmination of working with Law, the culmination of all they've been doing since Punk Hazard, just it's crazy. It's crazy. Like Punk Hazard's when Wano, like all the stuff from Wano was even introduced, because that's where like you meet a lot of the characters from Wano originally, which is crazy to think it goes back that far. But yeah, that started from there. Yeah, Odin, meeting Odin, like Odin's one of those characters. Odin's flashback, in particular. If I could make Odin's flashback in particular, like on its own, that'd probably go up a little further. But since it's a part of it, it does bring it up here. I love Odin's flashback. I love I remember watching through in the anime version. I remember watching through the Wano that arc, and it was so fun seeing what it was like being on the crew of the King of the Pirates, and what Odin's journey was, and the tragedy that comes after, the horrors that he has to deal with in fighting someone as imposing as Kaido. Kaido is a great villain as well. Like, Kaido is built up as someone who is desired and chased after actual full fights, like wanting to beat down on people, wanting to have that honorable fight, that honorable death, or whatever. Like, the fact that it's been robbed from him so many times and he actually does care about it, even if he is a backstabbing, conniving piece of shit, it's so you have some modicum of respect for him. There's other villains in here that, you know, what's his name? Orochi. There's other villains in Wano, like Orochi and his whole family, which are annoying, but ugh, it's fine. They get their comeuppance. Again, Kaido is such a strong villain. Big Mom is such a strong villain, and their crew, the crews that they have there, are so strong that it makes up for all of that. It doesn't really even matter. And the tragedy of the stuff that's happened to the people of Wano, how raw that stuff is. Oh my gosh, the scene of what's his name? Da, 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 da. Adopted daughter of the daimyo Akumi. Akumi's the Shimatsuki. Yasu. God, the scene you have in Wano with Yasu and his whole arc, and just like the utter downfall of the people of Wano, and feeling the repression that they felt, how they have been truly repressed for years and years and years and years. You feel it. You feel it. You feel the impact of it. It does not hold back on it. And I think the fact that it builds all that stuff up and it pays it off and it delivers that punch, I think puts Wano up there, you know? And again, like the fights that go on, the big climactic battles that Luffy has, it doesn't reach the highs I had in Impel Down. You know, I think I put it below Sabaody even, I'll be real. But it is S+. It is a culmination. It is a fantastic arc. I think people get too caught in the moment looking at Wano and thinking about, like, oh, it could be this, it could be that. What Wano gives us is crazy. It's crazy. It's great. I love it. Okay. Egghead Island. Egghead Island. We're not going to talk about Elbath. We're not going to, because it's not done. I don't like talking about arcs when they're not done. We're linking the last completed arc of One Piece, Egghead Island. It is right below Water 7. It's actually really fucking good. Egghead Island had a moment. I read, reading the manga, reading the revelations of Egghead Island, and reading about, like, getting to know this scientist that you had to deal with for so long. Vegapunk has been a specter on the story for a long time, and the Straw Hats have had to deal with all of his different inventions that he's made for the Marines for so long, right? For so long. And actually understanding why he was doing all that, what the real purpose of, like, Egghead, like, he's a complicated figure because it does portray him as, like, being a little bit uncaring to the fact that he is a weapons manufacturer for the most disgusting, genocidal, horrifying world government, like this horrifying world government. But also the fact that he is trying to make scientific advancements that they wouldn't be possible if he wasn't working with the government. No one else could fund his research. He's very like it is a kind of Oppenheimer like figure, right? Where they have a lot of good intentions and they do good things. Like Oppenheimer didn't even do good things, to be honest. But like good things are done from his research. Good things are accomplished. But all the harm that he causes on the way, that Vegapunk causes, is stuff you have to grapple with when you think when you have a character like him. Egghead Island's also fun because it's a sci-fi land, a futuristic land. It feels like Astro Boy in a lot of ways. You know, it's like, what if the Astro Boy world was an island in One Piece? You know, like their boots kind of remind me of Astro Boy, the boots they have to fly around in. Very fun arc, but has a lot of returning villains. It has so much impactful world building. There's so much that goes, like the actual, it's a little hard because there's not really in between arc between Wano and Egghead Island, but you have to include all the stuff that happens in between this, like all the fights that the world changing stuff that's been going on, like Blackbeard's takeover, or war in Amazon Lily, or Garp's rescue of Kobe. All these different world-changing phenomenon. Sabo trying to escape from the Reverie arc, and the mass extinction that occurs because of that. All these different arcs are a part of Egghead. I'm putting those as a part of Egghead. And like you feel the world lurching forward, everything coming to a head. The whole story is moving to this point. This is where everything has come to, and you get when you finally get the revelations of what Vegapunk's been working on. You get a lot of answers about the world that we have waited so long for, so long. Honestly, I kind of feel like I should put it up above Enies Lobby. Honestly, I kind of do. Because there's so many questions still asked from this. Answers given, questions still asked. Where does the story go from here? The flip in power dynamics that's been occurring, and the actual, I don't know. There's Egghead Island. I hope people appreciate it. I hope people appreciate what it is, but it is such a cool arc because it is this big advancement forward for the world of One Piece, for the story of One Piece. We see Luffy coming into his powers in Gear 5, understanding what he represents, the backstory behind Kuma, why he did all that he did way back in Thriller Bark. Why, like, all of these things come together. It has been years. Finally getting answers. I love Egghead. Egghead's great. Great arc. Underappreciated arc. I love Egghead. Egghead is great. Great. Fantastic setting. The setting is perfect. It's new. It's exciting. The OP. Perfect OP for if we're talking about the anime version. The opening they had's perfect. Vegapunk's great. The Vegapunks in general. The fact that he's been working on even new versions of pacifistas, and that he's given so many weapons to the world government, but he also has done so much good for the world. It's an arc that gives you a lot of complicated feelings about the man, and about his legacy, and about where it goes from there. But I was gripped but I was gripped throughout it. I was enthralled by its story it was telling. So Egghead's great. It is one of the best arcs here. I feel like I should put it below Water 7. I feel like still Enies Lobby and Water 7 is such a watershed moment. And Marineford is an experience I can never get back. Egghead is great. I think it's above Impel Down and Sabaody, even though like going from Sabaody to Impel Down to Marineford elevates all of those arcs because they're all like one after another. But Egghead Island, I love it. Okay. All right. That is my list. I've ordered them in the ways that like we have the strongest to the weakest. So this is my S plus tier. Marineford, Enies Lobby, Water 7, Egghead Island, Impel Down, Saba, Odie, and Wano in that order. S tier is the Reverie, Alabasta, Dressrosa, Arlong Park, Skypiea, Whole Cake Island in that order. A tier, Drum Island, Return to Saba Odie, Baratier, Post Enies Lobby, Thriller Bark, Jaya, Little Garden, and Loketown in that order. B tier, Punk Hazard, Zoe, Romance Dawn, Reverie, Reverse Mountain, sorry. Reverse Mountain, Amazon Lily, Post War in that order. C tier, Fishman Island, Orange Town, Whiskey Peak, and Long Ring, Long Land in that order. And finally, of course, D tier, Syrup Village. I'm sorry, Syrup Village. I don't like you that much. It's just the most infuriating arc to get through. But that's D tier in that order. It's the only one. There's no F tiers. There's no F tier arc of One Piece, in my opinion, unless we're talking about filler, because it's just pointless. I feel, what's the point? I want to get through it. I hate everything because I don't like watching filler. Filler's great for a lot of people. It's not great for me because I don't like having to wait through it. Anyway, that is my list of my top. But anyway, that is my list of the top arcs in all of One Piece. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you learned something. Hope you have your own thoughts and opinions. What are your top arcs? What is your S plus tier? I want to know, what stuff would you knock down? I feel like I know I rated some stuff a little higher than other people would, but what's your worst arc? What is your least favorite arc in all of One Piece? And don't let it be the current one, because there's a lot of people who get captured in the moment. Elpath is great. We're not going to talk about that. But a lot of people get caught up in the moment, like, oh, what's Oda doing? We're just dragging our feet here. It's fine. Trust the process. Anyway, thank you very much for watching this video. I hope you have a great day, a great night, or whatever it is you're having, and stay rad. Oh! I did it. I did it. I did it. It took 2 hours. We've been streaming for 3 hours. It was even longer than 2 hours. That. Okay, it's 7:50. I'm going to take a break for a sec. I don't know if I'm actually... I said I wanted to game. I don't know that I do, to be honest. I'm going to be honest. I don't know that I do. Yeah. Yeah, okay, I think it's good. Okay. So I will be... Okay, that's good. Okay, so I'm going to be heading out here. I hope you I'll be back on Monday for my birthday stream. Ooh, exciting. Get ready. But I hope you have a great day, a great night, or whatever it is you're having. And stay rad. Okay, goodbye now. Goodbye. Goodbye now. Goodbye. Goodbye now. Goodbye.